True.
You're videotaping my nostrils. Okay, so here I'm going to do a little story time, I guess, because we're spraying and stuff, and it'll be a quick story. When I was a kid, and I mean kindergarten, it was the year after kindergarten. We were in this field. My Aunt Ella and Uncle Irv, who are both gone now, my grandmother, my mother, my father, myself, and my good friend Jamie Novak, my first real friend in kindergarten. And we're still friends today. His mom still lives across the way over here. So there was wheat in this field, and my dad had combined it with the TR-70 combine. And on the TR-70 combine, they have this little tang, I call it a tang, but a little metal brake that grabs the belt when you disengage the unloading auger. Well, he was combining, and for some reason that little metal tang had slid, and, it loosened enough that it didn't act like a brake. And right here where these trees are, see those trees?
Yeah.
Between those two trees, the trees were a lot smaller back then, and the reason there's trees there is there's actually big-ass rocks that you cannot get out of the ground without a very large track helm. But anyways, between those trees, that unloading auger had kicked on and dumped all the wheat onto the ground. And back then you didn't go very fast. It was a 15-foot header. It was a rigid header. And it dumped it. He didn't realize until about 3 pickup truckloads of wheat had been dumped out on the ground. Oh yeah, it was pretty large thing. So I'm a little kid, and my job was to hold the bags open while my Uncle Irv and my grandmother, my dad, and my mom, they were all shoveling. So I was to hold the bag open, and I always hated that job because the shovel would catch your fingers, like right on your thumbs. You're holding it, and there's aluminum shovels. I remember a steel shovel. Those things were heavy. But anyways, my friend Jamie Novak came over, and I hadn't seen him in a while because we had gotten out of school, and it was like now, this time of year, July, it was hot as hell. And, well, I no longer wanted to hold the bags open, and my mom and dad were like, go play, get out of our hair, you're doing, being a pain in the ass anyway, because I was complaining about my thumbs. My grandfather, he was sleeping because he worked in the paper mill at night. Actually did swing shift. Well, anyways, right about here, he was chasing me, and I was running, and I tripped and fell. And a wheat stalk, see that dark mark right there? I would almost say that that's exactly the spot where that stalk of wheat went into my hand. And even then, my ego was so big I didn't want to cry in front of my friend, my overinflated OLF ego at age 7, But anyway, 6 maybe. Anyway, I'm like, ugh! And I remember holding my wrist. My mom thought I broke my wrist, and there's straw sticking out of my hand. And so, come here! I go over here, my grandmother actually grabbed it, and she pulled it out and says, how's that feel? It hurts, Well, you should have been playing around. That's my grandmother for you. So when we were kids, you weren't allowed to be kids. I'm sure there's a lot of farm kids my age that could attest to that. We weren't really allowed to be kids when there was work to be undone. You had to sneak off and go run into the swimming pool or the swimming hole. And I'll tell you, I'm 45 years old now, and I remember that day just as vivid as it happened yesterday. And the pain that thing caused. I'm not kidding you. That piece of straw went in my hand. Now, I was little. I was maybe 6 or 7. I remember when my grandmother pulled that out, you might have thought she took a mile of straw out of my hand. Because you got to think, man, my hand was only that big at the time. I think it pretty near went through me. And that's when my mom told me about the piece of straw, piece of wheat straw that is through a fence post down in the Smithsonian from a tornado. And I'll never forget that story either. But man, I remember. But yeah, that's what you get for playing around. That's it. So anyways, a lot of stories in this field on this farm because, you know, I'm 45 and we've been farming it every bit of that. At least as long as I've been alive. So I grew corn and soybeans, wheat, rye, barley, timothy, alfalfa one time. What a disaster. This field gets wet. This field gets wet, but it really grew good red clover. Beautiful red clover. Oh, geez, you're getting bounced around. But anyways, that's the end of my story for right now. So, thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe for more. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.